my mantra is when you have the fear in your head, which is the ego, and it edges God out. Like all the noise starts to talk to you, whether it's in your personal relationship, your business, or your ideas, or your own confidence, talking to yourself. If you let that noise come in, it will form an ego and it'll edge God out. Do not make decisions from the brain. The brain is your biggest machine. It's the engine in your body. It's like the engine in the car. So let it do its work, but make your decisions from your heart. Make your decisions from a stable place of love. And when you do, you will do no wrong in life. You will fly.
Welcome to the Karis Wright Show. I'm Karis Wright, and I am thrilled to have a woman of many hats with me today. One who has not just started and run an effective business, but also has dominated economic development in the rural Alberta market. Angela Greneveld, I'm so excited to have you join us, and I'm going to have you tell us about those many different hats that you've worn.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. And my dog, Molly. I don't know if anyone can see her,
my
but
goodness.
she's not a service dog. I'm just a country girl, cowgirl that loves bringing her dog everywhere. But dominant. I love how you...
Dominant.
I love that, how you introduce me, because that really is my energy. And I think when I enter a room, I dominate a room. I really do. And for my EDOs that are watching out there, my colleagues, that I dominate the industry, they'll probably laugh and say, well, she dominates the room, definitely, but I don't know about the industry, as I respect them all. They are all so great at what they do. A lot of them become mentors. But yes, I'm very passionate about everything I do. And so a little bit about myself. I'm the CEO of Emerge Agency. Emerge Agency was formed from, it started when the floods of High River came about. I got thrown into learning really fast how to do business disaster recovery, community disaster recovery, economic development disaster recovery. So I also did some training for myself. I suffered some PTSD from that I didn't realize, serving on the front line in disasters for a while. Had a very special person invest in me and said, you need to go get some training to be able to serve entrepreneurs better, because I was carrying their pain. So I went and got my coaching at that time. And so the company is Emerge, emerging yourself forward, emerging your community forward, and emerging your business forward. And then if a disaster happens for those contracts, it moves into one word on my branding as Emerge Agency. And it was a local branding lady, marketing lady here that created that for me. And I love it. I love that I can be diversified. You can see the key there. I'm coaching already. That I can be diversified a little bit with the contracts coming in on that. But so, yeah, that's my side gig. It was my full-time gig for a while. And but I have a very big passion for rural business owners, for entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, I eat, breathe, sleep, love it. And rural communities, I'm a country girl. I love rural communities, so I serve in government for economic development, and that's my day job. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's amazing. I want to touch on the experience that you had in the 2013 floods. I actually lived in Okotoks and served in the community at that time, and I remember it vividly because my ex-husband and my kid's dad was working in High River, and that was a terrifying moment for so many of us. What have you learned about disaster recovery from a business standpoint through that experience?
We'll be here a long time. Yeah.
Top 3 things you've learned.
Top 3 things. Have a plan. It's not if it happens, it's when it happens. That there's some way you're going to have a disruption in your business. And so we are trained as disaster recovery specialists, that we are trained that there's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. So COVID is a man-made disaster. When the tariffs, man-made disaster. So when our economy is by man has changed, and we wake up one day and we're told that we can't open up our business, or we're told we can't sell this, or it's going to cost this today. Yeah, those are shifts. So if you don't have a plan in place for that, That's my number one lesson that I learned is everybody needs to have a plan. Number two is how can I explain this? If you're not really good at something, please hire the expert. Insurance. I don't speak very highly of insurance because of my experience, but I speak highly of insurance because everybody needs it. My experience was I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and there's things we do for check marks to get them done, but we don't read the fine print. The pain for me that I still carry to this day, and I've served on just a lot of disasters in Canada, some international, is that's the day that they pull out their insurance policy and they take a look at it and they realize they don't have coverage. It's the same as if your house gets hailed or my truck got stolen the other day, broken into, and I was being cheap, and it's just an old farm truck, and I didn't have theft insurance on it, didn't read the fine line on it. So that's number two. And number three lesson is one that I practice every single day, and community recovers community. Tribes working together, connections. That is what is going to save your business. So you, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, make sure that you have relationships with your customers. I don't believe in competition because I've watched it over the years serving in disaster recovery. They're all there together. We're all trying to put food on the table and make money, and it takes a community to do that. You'll bring in resources from Red Cross and government and donations, but it's really the community and it's the customers that will support you in the end. So those are my top three.
So plan, insurance, community.
Yeah.
Let's step back into the plan piece, because this is something that's near and dear to my heart as a former financial planner. And as a matter of fact, just earlier today, my husband and I sat down with our financial planner and was going through our estate plan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
No, that's
not at all.
That's a terrible feeling.
No, but I think
it's because I run away from that kind of work.
Right? And I run towards that for the exact
Good
same
for you.
reason.
Yeah.
Is because of fail to plan to fail.
Yeah.
And so when we look at this from a business standpoint, and this is where the business continuity comes in,
Yes.
because of both of our businesses being as coaches,
Yeah.
and my an arm I'm going to be adding in the next 2 years is counseling, I have to think about what does the actual estate planning look like from a patient perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So the business perspective, but also the patient perspective. And the same thing for my coaching clients. And you would as well. Like, what happens if something happens to me?
Yeah.
My husband doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So let's walk back through what is a recovery plan, a disaster recovery plan, whether that's man-made or God-made.
Yep.
What do you need to have involved with that?
So government has to have, so your municipality, your province, your country, they all have to have disaster recovery plans. Departments have to have disaster recovery plans. So I'm going to just speak to it from you as an entrepreneur, you as a business owner, is basically everybody knows what a SWOT analysis is. Your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm going to make this as easy as it can be. So you can hire me. You can hire lots of people. And with AI right now, you could go on and put your business in there and it'll whip you out a disaster recovery plan. But for those of you that are 50 plus, I'm still learning AI.
Right there. Yeah, that's
and not a lot of money and want to do it yourself, just write out what I just said. Do a SWOT analysis on it. And when you get to the threats, make sure that you have, if my business was closed tomorrow, what would I do? If a flood, a fire, so go through the natural disasters that happen. We've been taught that the government can absolutely fluctuate your business. So if restrictions come in, create them? What restrictions? Water use. That was another one. That was the Emergency Operations Center. We stabilized last year when the water line breakdowns went. I serve Strathmore right now, and they were on the water line. So we had to put I had to call business owners and say, okay, your water restrictions have just gone down. No plan. So how does a car wash? The most interesting one was a Ford dealership, I think it was, that they said we detail every single vehicle when it comes out and wash it. And we're going to have to find another way here because you can't in-house wash it anymore.
Well, and this is a real thing in Calgary right now.
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
they are on
Yeah.
water restrictions.
And I bet you every one of those businesses that were along that street did not have a disaster recovery plan if they were told that you're going to lose your sidewalk, your access, your everything to have them come in. I advocate all the time that there should be disaster disruption insurance. Government should be putting money aside for it, whether it's a business incentive tax or something. Something has to be there. If we really want to retain businesses, when we shut their doors down, we need to support them in some way. So whether they don't have to pay property taxes, but I won't go down that road. But these are prime examples that happen. So have that plan in place, and have that plan in place with your financial institution. And if they're saying that, this is where I have one, I worked with Business Link, and I had one webinar that I did called the Business Pulse Check. And we always do our own pulse check and to make sure we're healthy. But you do a business pulse check. And the first thing I always check it on that is your mental health, because that's the very first thing in that plan. Because can you do it? If you're here on, like, this is, I kind of use when I get into my fear to faith model, so I kind of hear when I'm here, I don't have room for anything else. So if I'm already working with personal issues in my life, my home foundation, financially, whether you're looking after your parents or whether you've got your children are a lot of work at the time or something, and then you've got drama or stress or nervousness at work, and then your side hustle business is on there, and then boom, a flood comes in, a fire comes in. Do you have capacity mentally of what it's going to take? And it's going to take a lot. So the mental check has to be on there, and there's no money. So what they do is they give you loans right away, and loans are the second disaster in my opinion, because we don't properly make a business plan in place of how we're going to pay that back. The 0% interest is a carrot dangler, but
right.
I can go down that road too. But so the mental well-being of it, and then ask yourself that while you're in a stable mind, while everything is good, you ask yourself these questions. And then write a journal or write to yourself, what would be your tipping point mentally if you couldn't do it? All the businesses I ran, I don't ever remember having 6 months worth of savings in my account that if the business shut down for a while. And here I am as a coach to say, have money set aside that will finance, or a line of credit or something in place that will carry you through. So
the financial well-being, and while you were talking, what was coming up with me, especially around that mental well-being, was when you're in those moments, especially as business is getting crazy or something happens, you are in de-stress.
Yep.
You are in fight or flight.
Yeah.
And so that opportunity to sit back and do the SWOT analysis, right? I'm a huge fan of a SWOT analysis to be able to understand that. And we spend more time on those strengths and opportunities than we do those threats.
Yeah. Have the hard conversations in your relationship, in your home, in your business, when you're the most healthy, when your mind is the most healthy, because that's when you're stable. That's when all the endorphins are working. That's when all the hormones are working. And make your plans there, or if you have a decision, if you're wanting to sell your house, expand, or if you're engaged and you want to get married, do it from a healthy state, not when you're in the disaster. That is the biggest lesson the last 20 years serving has taught me. And mental health, if you were to AI my name right now, you'll see that is my legacy. I'm a huge, huge fan of, I've experienced some terrible things, personally myself, experienced in mental health in family and in friends, and then in my career as well, how many business owners I've lost due to mental health. And let's
touch on that for a minute, because that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And one of the reasons that I made a pivot, went back and got my coaching certifications, and the reason why I'm in the middle of doing what I'm doing with the psychology education. What is it that you really, with that legacy, what are you wanting to bring to the world?
That you can live a great life with, if you're make mental wellness a priority. The mental health part, I think, is old, the word. I think there's a stigma to it. And I am an award-winning, very energetic, very happy person. And I have a toolbox that I have to make a priority every single day, or I will slip.
Yes.
And the depressions will come, the suicide thoughts will come. And there is some very successful people out there. I'm one of them. Brett Wilson, he's a huge fan. I'm a huge fan for him, and he raises a lot of money for it, and he speaks very openly about it. And the last garden party that he raised $500,000 for mental health at, said that he battles depression, and he shared it. And I think as an alpha male, that is something really important for him to speak up in the oil and gas industry, to say that. That's, I think a lot of the alpha males are up there, that generation. I was so proud of him. So the legacy I leave is, don't let it absorb you. You can beat it. You can, but you have to make it a priority.
Yes. And it's really interesting because you alluded to the battle with depression, mine's anxiety, and debilitating anxiety to the point where I'm unfunctioning. So I've talked on the podcast before about crying in the bathroom, about having an anxiety attack in the bathroom before I had to go and lead a team meeting or whatnot. And so I think we really do need to speak more openly about that. How will you know that that legacy that you want to bring is truly fulfilled?
That's a great question. That is a really, really great question, because a lot of people, I get up every day to serve in some way.
Yeah.
I'm God's child, and I want to serve in some way. And I love to laugh, and I love to, God gave me this big smile and this big personality and all of these experiences in life. I was a little mad at him for a while there, like that's enough. But I realize now it's to pay forward, and I'm not doing it for a legacy. The legacy natural comes from the way that you want to live. So the way that I want to live is, I want to make people feel good when they're around me. And I want to share my story, that if I can inspire one. So how do I know if my legacy is working? Is every time someone says to me, I love your smile, I know that they're smiling back when they say it. If someone says to me, I just love your energy, I know that I've made an impact in that person right there. When I go and I am keynote speaking and I'm watching people in the audience nodding like this, or I'm getting messages coming to me. So I don't rate it in any way except from the human interaction. And I know that I'm making a difference. So I can die tomorrow, and I know that my legacy worked while I was on earth, because I know the feedback I got.
It's the small things that make the big difference.
Yeah. Even my dog, the joy she brings people, when I bring her everywhere, because I will watch people drop their shoulders or drop their egos, and they pet the dog, and I know she's making a difference, and she's lifting someone up, their spirit. And I watch it, and that's my legacy. That's, Angela brought that dog everywhere, and the dog made her happy. And I'm like, enjoy your dog. You're sorry about the dog here, but she's just leaving love feathers behind for you for the day.
Love feathers. Oh my goodness.
I just have a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
I love that.
My house is full of love feathers.
Yes.
And they're very clean.
Well, we love having Molly here. 100%. That was like the biggest smile on my face when I saw her.
Right?
Here.
It's what happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Bring an animal in, and yep.
And that's all any of us can ask for. Now, when you're having one of those days where you're on verge of slipping, what brings you back?
YouTube. So
okay, that's not the answer I thought you were going to say.
Yep. I'm serious. When I'm having real troubles and the noise. So for me, my mantra that I teach, fear to faith and on to fly, the fear in the head, I actually have a visual of a dark and a black in my head. And so when the white light is coming through me through a spirit, then I'm good. But when that noise starts to come in, it starts to get black and dark. And so I immediately go to YouTube wherever I am in the day, and I get grounded, and I'll put in whatever I need. Music, EDMR, or if I need a quick 10 minutes of a motivational thing, because there was a time that I didn't have any resources or anybody or could afford anything.
Right.
So I always had a phone, and I always had access to YouTube. And that's the biggest free tool that I use to start pulling me up. Music, just singing it, like finding my favorite. This Little Light of Mine is one that I play all the time. Amazing Grace, and then sometimes Def Leppard. Sometimes, Kid Rock. Depends on my mood. I think I have multiple personalities.
Right? No.
Whatever it is to get me through. The one that
gets me going is Eminem. Right?
Yeah.
So in Aretha Franklin and binaural beats and anything that allows to just recenter.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is my immediate. And if you want to play with it, so my algorithms are picking up already on it. And it's my dial a counselor right there, right fast. Now, to prevent it, I have a toolbox of happiness, I call it. And everybody should customize their own toolbox. And I taught it to my daughter recently. I went down and she was struggling a little bit mentally, a lot of pressures being a student athlete. I said, what are your favorite things? So we start to fill the endorphin. We start to the music, to the what kind of clothing are we wearing? Or do we need, as a student athlete, not a lot of money. When you go shopping, you can go thrifting. You got $50 or $20. It's the experience. It's buying the favorite food. It's if you can't afford the perfume, but you want to go spray it. So all of those little things. And for me, it's nature. I got to get my body moving. If I'm not moving, energy and motion. So if this body isn't moving, if it sits still too long, when we're all, desk jobs are the new smoking, they say. So I have to be moving to keep my endorphin going, to keep mentally strong, to keep the dark out, and nature. And the reason is to shut the noise out.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation to anyone listening is find your happiness, write it down, things that bring you joy in any way, and create that toolbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
And put it somewhere that it's a reminder.
Yes.
Regularly.
Yeah. Write it out. Put it somewhere.
Yeah. Sticky note it. Yeah. Whatever you need to do in order to bring that forward. And I would add to that list gratefulness. Right?
Yeah. The mental part. So there's the 4, mentally, spiritually, physically. Yeah. So the spiritual side, for those people that have a strong faith system, go to that. If you don't have one, find one. You really need to find one. And I respect them all. But find your tribe. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just praying and just talking, whatever the faith system can be, just talking to the spirit. Just look up. Just try something. And those are, because if you don't have that toolness happy box, stuff will creep in. Mm-hmm. It'll start to creep in, and you want to keep all of those dark stuff out. So I'm very, my friend list is very short. And I discovered that it was more important for me to make sure everybody liked me until I realized that was an actual mental health issue, that I wanted to be liked.
People pleasing.
Yep.
It will tear almost everybody down.
It's because I didn't love myself.
Yes.
And everybody that didn't love me screamed it at me, but they didn't. But I felt like they were screaming at me. Any little comment I can remember my 40th birthday party. I got all dressed up and I went to it. And someone came up to me at the party and said, "You look like an Amazon." They screamed at me, "You're ugly and fat." You know what they meant is because I had high heels on. And I was tall.
And you're tall.
Yeah.
And yes.
I was devastated. I still talking about it. And I'm 54. So you have, don't worry about it. And so they scream. If you're strong with yourself and you're strong with your confidence, then you don't elaborate and blow up all the unhealthiness to come in. But be very, very protective of who you let in.
There's an element of planning for that as well, right? Yeah. Planning for the mental wellness, planning for what is your intentional response going to be when somebody does say something? Yeah. And how are you going to navigate through? And a lot of that, I think, for me, it comes back to who you are, right? I work with a program, we call it Leader Brand. Yeah. And really it's understanding what are your beliefs and your values are and keeping true to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how soft you are and how you speak to it calmly. And I watched one of your podcasts the other day, and you were saying that there's no competition. And you had this really neat conversation with your guest on it. And I just watched how your energy just went down there and how calming you were. And that is probably, can you imagine someone working with you and they just feel good and love from you and calm and not judge? You come to me and you tell me that you have a victim story. I'm going to have AC/DC playing. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to have you so pumped up.
Right?
I'm going to have you so my energy is you know what we're going to do with them? We're going to get a swear coloring book out and we're going to color it and we're going to swear at them the whole time. So this is why there's no competition.
Really interesting, because that is probably the number one thing that I hear from clients or just people is I naturally feel calm in your presence.
I do. I mean, you were just talking.
Right.
Yeah.
I just naturally calm down. Yeah. And that, if you would have known me
Yeah.
30 years ago
Yeah.
would not have been my MO.
Right.
I would have been like feisty.
You've done your
heck
work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that's how I show up, and that's how I've had to navigate through. You talked about your trauma and some of the PTSD. That's how I've just got to be calm.
Yeah.
I'm the calm presence navigating through that.
Yeah. And I can't go to you as a coach.
No.
I'm like this. Come on. Like I need it and I want to be there. But for me to move in my businesses or for me to do all the things I'm doing, I go on YouTube and I listen to David Goggins. Like, you should see who I'm dating now, my partner. Like, he's David Goggins live though. But I love it.
Right.
I love energy and I love moving. I literally am going to slip into my grave and not stop running. So it's just me. It's just who I am.
Yeah. And yet I have the same energy in terms of the Energizer Bunny. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
I will be working 23 hours a day.
You can just control it.
I can
Probably.
just.
I can't.
Yeah. It takes a lot. I am the calmest redhead in the world. I swear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am the anti-redhead redhead.
Yeah.
But that's out of the fire that I've navigated through, right? Forging through the fire.
Well, to be an entrepreneur, you got to have energy. I don't care. I don't care what industry you're in.
Yeah.
You got to be ready to grind.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because when you're sleeping, your competition isn't. If we're going to have competition, they're growing.
100%. Yeah. So that's planning in like thoroughly all the way through. And then the insurance piece is really interesting to me. So the number 2 thing that you said, we could touch on it very briefly. It's that if you don't have it, get it.
Yeah. If you need it.
If you need it.
Yeah. Because a lot of these different businesses now, it's the premiums are huge. And for what you really look at your return on the money out on it, because maybe you don't need it.
And so what would you say business owner does need versus what's a need to have versus a nice to have?
Well, your inventory, if you make money off of inventory, you have to make sure that you have coverage for losing your inventory. So to have that replaced.
Yes.
So if you lose $10,000 worth of inventory, then out of a fire, how are you you're going to have to take a loan back. You're behind it all. So if you're paying an insurance so that that's replaced, or your equipment, those are the top priority. Business operations. Those are so a lot of people they didn't have your displays, your shelves, your different things like that. Your staff is looked after through your EI. Well, hopefully a lot of that's actually a key, because if you're being unpaid under the table, or if you're anything that's not on the books with CRA, if a disaster happens, you will not get compensated for any of it. And I've seen some very, very sad business owners that us as ranching, we were affected by the floods, and you do a lot of cash jobs where you trade a calf for maybe some hay or something like that, and or some different works or tractor usage or something. Well, that's not on the books. So if you lose that, or if you get paid cash or that trade, you can't claim that as revenue or an expense or anything. So it's the same with your employees. Like you have to be very aware of the consequences of not following the legal rules in entrepreneurship if a disaster happens.
So be really discerning about what you need.
Yeah.
Look at it, how it matches out both financially from cash flow, but the potential of the risk return.
Yep. If you're an employee right now and you're listening to this, have that conversation with your boss. Say, if you were to have a disaster happen in here, am I covered? And make them do the due diligence. They go, I don't know. Well, can you find out, please? Because I just took a mortgage, or I'm planning on getting married, or so. Because the only when they're going to find out is when they're in stress mode up to here, in trying to look after their home and their business at the same time, and their employees calling them saying, I need a paycheck.
Right.
Just figure it out now.
Figure it
all out now. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And then I love community. I think community is one of the most important things. We have to have each other's backs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you seeing in community right now?
Oh, it's stronger than ever. Like or not Trump, he taught us all a big lesson. Shop local first.
Shop local.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, all these tariffs come on. All of a sudden, we were almost spoiled by depending on our exports as our sales, because when the wall came up and that we couldn't sell it, we all went, oh. And then in government, you can't sell BC wine in Saskatchewan or however it works or something. This is nuts. So everyone got a big wake-up call of how to become a community from a country. Everybody got a big wake-up call how to become a community in our own province, to get rid of some red tapes to support everybody. and put some incentives there to help these entrepreneurs for their manufacturing so that they've been creating it. We don't have to buy it from China. And then in our own backyard, Trump also woke us up to shop local because what's made here, well, I want to support, I want to do it. So community is at all three levels, your country, your province, to your local community, but then it goes deeper. Community to me also is your industry. Like, I don't believe in competition. So all of you business coaches having a networking in the region here, Southern Alberta event, and then buying cluster advertising and marketing and let your consumer make the decision on their own. They're doing it anyways. So why not be smart and buy one ad, put it all together because the consumer's Googling them all anyways, and just get them one place to land. And then it also goes further than that into location. So your community can be on your downtown or in your own neighborhood.
In the neighborhood, yeah, on the cul-de-sac.
Yeah. Turn in there first before you go external for your customers.
You're seeing some incredible things in the community that you're doing in Strathmore.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm very proud of working in Strathmore.
You're not just a little proud of Strathmore. You are a lot proud of Strathmore.
Yeah, good old country folks over there. Yeah,
what are some of the things that you guys are doing?
Well, I took a big break from government. I wasn't going to go back into it. And when COVID happened, I was serving here in Okotoks and I just gave my notice. And when COVID came, I was like, I can't do it. I've been back-to-back disasters. I knew too much. I knew that this was going to land on the blame on government, and I knew the pain that was going to happen to these entrepreneurs, and I just couldn't stomach it. Took a break and played in the disaster. Well, it's interesting because I played in the data industry for a couple of years there, and it was like I went to Data Center School 101. And my passion, I couldn't even do it. And I'm a really smart person and I can do anything. And I could not sell data center equipment or how to build a data center because it just didn't make sense for me. And so I had a real calling back to serving entrepreneurs. And so a colleague reached out, gave me the opportunity, and it just felt right. And I knew it was right when their tagline was Rural Reimagined, because that's literally what's happening in every single community. Is we're rural communities that were started either from CP Rail or the grain elevators, or usually a town is built around water. So there's some type of asset that it builds around in a rural community. So as your world evolves, it reimagines itself. So Strathmore had just brought on Rural Reimagined, and I knew I could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
I knew I could. So it's a very small administration, and the CEO actually, he is from Fort McMurray. So he was involved in the disasters.
Wow.
Yeah, he served
Talk
up
about
there.
a dynamic team.
Yeah.
The flood and then the fires.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, when you align with that, and so he is very fiscally responsible, and he knows to be very smart. He always has a plan, is my point. So he's always number one priority, so I like working for that. So recently, I have to get Strathmore on the map. I got to get people to, when I was married and ranching out there along the Bow River, we often went to Strathmore. And I remember my son, I did a podcast here actually on the Indigenous reconciliation, because there was a son that was murdered, an Indigenous man, and my son had played hockey with him. And so when that landed on my desk as well, there was God was calling me in. And we put on a reconciliation powwow. I knew my purpose was to do that, to reconcile these communities together. Like I shared, community is very important. Well, we need to make sure we're getting along with our Indigenous neighbors and that they feel welcome in the white man little town. And then the Rural Reimagined side of it was, how do we get people to stop on Highway 1, the Trans-Canada Highway, and turn into Strathmore? So I've had a lot of fun with some different initiatives, and one that you heard me speaking about early is we're the first rural community to become certified investment ready through the Economic Developers of Alberta. So I'll be doing a lot of marketing with that and working with Invest Canada on being now qualified to be on their dashboard. So that's a big win.
That's a huge win, and congratulations
Very proud of that.
on that.
Yeah, and it's not me. I just am creating it. It's the town, it's the administration, it's the business owners, it's all of them there. I just tell their story and create ways to sell them.
Service has come up a lot in this conversation.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, everything. I love your questions. Service is, it's almost like I wake up every day waiting for my path to serve.
Mm.
Whatever hat I'm wearing, I feel I'm supposed to do something in some way. So service is many things for me. Opening the door for the person at the going into the grocery store. It's just in government, I think we forget that we're public servants. And I think we forget that we're here to serve. We're paid with tax dollars to take our expertise and our training and to serve them in that lane. And listen to them first before you make your plan. Politicians, I highly respect every politician because I can't imagine being one these days. Not only from the physical threats that are happening out there, the bullying and the online stuff, but beating up mentally. And there's no way they're paid enough. There's no way a politician. But sometimes there's been politicians that forget that they're there to be elected to serve. They're not there to be elected to serve their own agenda. They're paid by taxpayers. They're elected by taxpayers. So it's it means many, many things to me. But for me personally, I think every business owner should be serving their customers.
Wow.
I think that's how they should look at their business.
Yes. That resonates with me. I grew up the daughter of 3 government employees. To my mom, my stepmom, and my stepdad. And service, I think, is at the heart of everything that I do, just watching through them. But I want to wrap up by asking you about your faith, because that is a part of how you coach. That's clearly how you get up in the morning and part of what lets you rise. And that's what fuels you.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me that question, because it's very important to me. And I believe that is my story to share while I'm on earth. And I was raised in the mountains. My mother was a teacher. My father was a game warden. And I lived the richest life. I had no idea we were financially maybe poor, people would call you, because we had such a beautiful life and a rich life of living in the mountains. You know, your mother always made sure you had the education and the culture and were exposed to things. And then your father was always showing you the lay of the land. So I was raised that God was when you went to nature and you gave gratitude. We were never raised with religion. We were raised with the spiritual side of it. And just to be full of gratitude and he'd always thank the ducks for food and thank the fish for food. And that's why he protected the animals, and mom was grateful for his books and to teach students, right? So you had that in you. So I didn't know religion until I got married. And then I was baptized up in the Northwest Territories. I was not born in the Northwest Territories because a white woman can't have a baby out there. She was flown out. And then I was the only white baby raised with the Inuits for 2 years. And I was baptized up there. And so, but I don't remember any of that. It didn't sit with me. And then when I got married, we went to church all the time, you know, a little rural community church. And so I was just really interested in it. And I would ask a lot about it. And I would get confused on the behavior of people that would sit at church and then how they would act after. And I got very confused about it all. So I just let it go. You know, I knew it felt good, and it was about community, and it felt right raising your kids, and it's where all your neighbors and everybody went, until a disaster hit me personally. And I heard a spirit speak to me and tell me it was 4:00 in the morning, and I'm laying on the bathroom floor just in fetal position, just crying. We've all been there. We've all, whatever we're going to say our breakdown is. And I heard fear to faith on to fly. And I didn't know what it meant. So I shared it with my husband at the time, and he encouraged me to further on it to help me get through I had a panic attack on the farm there. There was a lot of different energy I was really, really struggling with a lot of different situations at the time. So I was mentally cracked. I didn't realize I had postpartum. The kids were young. I owned 2 or 3 businesses, franchises at the time, and 2 young kids. And then the farm was going through droughts and BSE. Like, it was hard times. And that's when I started to go down the road through Buddhism, of understanding, just reading books, going on YouTube. The internet was just coming out there. ExploreNet was coming out in the country. And I was starting to learn to have something to believe in to guide me, because I was completely lost and I was getting suicidal. I was getting very, very low. And my journey has always been the mantra, fear to faith, on to fly. And then I found God. And I found, for me, the Christian belief, Jesus, it's what I believe in. I just know. But I also respect every other, because if I'm a true believer of Jesus, everything's from a place of love. So when I say the word God, I mean love. I work from a place of love, and I live from a place of love, and everything I do is from a place of love. So my mantra is, when you have the fear in your head, which is the ego, and it edges God out, all the noise starts to talk to you, whether it's in your personal relationship, your business, or your ideas, or your own confidence, talking to yourself. If you let that noise come in, it will form an ego and it'll edge God out. Do not make decisions from the brain. The brain is your biggest machine. It's the engine in your body. It's like the engine in the car. So let it do its work, but make your decisions from your heart. Make your decisions from a stable place of love. And when you do, you will do no wrong in life. You will fly. So for me, my heart, my love is God. So the more I'm still going down the journey, I've chosen a partner now in my life that he was going to be a minister. And he's gone, like, we're crazy, him and I. We're not perfect. We go up and down, and you'll see us on a Saturday night and think there's no way any God is in their life, right? But that's the beautiful thing, is that we make mistakes every day, and we go back and we ask for forgiveness and we do better. And we listen, because we're learning all the time. So make sure you get back up into that brain, and when you feel something doesn't feel right, your intuition, your spidey sense or whatever, or you've made a mistake, go to your place of love, go to your faith system, which is love, in whatever religion you are in, and sit there with it and listen to yourself what the answer is. Let that spirit come in, and then forgive yourself and move on. Get going.
That's amazing. I really appreciate that thought. Fear to faith, on to fly.
Books coming soon.
Books coming soon.
Working on it for 10 years.
That is amazing.
So keep learning more chapters.
Angela, where can we find you?
emergeagency.ca, LinkedIn as well. A lot of and all of the social media
All
platforms.
of the socials. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. We appreciate this conversation. Hopefully it's part 2.
Absolutely.
There's so much we can navigate onto.
Yeah.
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Any opportunity, if I've changed one person's, if I've put a smile on one person's life, or a little spark in them listening to that show,
yes,
I served my legacy again today.
That is amazing. And I like to end periodically by saying lead with heart, and I know you do. Mm-hmm. So lead with heart. Thank you so much for being here.
You're a beautiful soul. Thank you. Keep going.